Literally everything hinges on you making good content. Your success, your bank account, your dreams, your freedom, your lifestyle, all of it relies on you figuring out how to make content that people want to engage with and people want to buy from. And if it's okay with you, because it's such a big deal, I'm going to be really frank and I'm going to be really honest, and I'm going to tell you exactly why your content is getting crickets and isn't making you any money. There's 3 main mistakes you're making. I'm going to go through them one at a time. Mistake number 1, your content is shitty because it's like everybody else's and it's just bland. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. I see this one all the time. This is the most common mistake where you are either not experienced enough or talented enough or like aware enough, I think is the word I'm looking for, to make content that's better than everybody else's. So your content is part of the noise. There's the noise, a few people whose content rises above the noise. And my call to you today is to make content that rises above the noise. Do not make content, and I'll give you a really specific example, okay? Run experiments and report back on them. So I'm going to give you an example, okay? I cut sugar out for 30 days and here's what happened. It's going to be a much better piece of content no matter what platform it's put on than here are 3 healthy foods you should eat. Everybody's making content like that. An actual real world experiment where you went out and you did something, you cut sugar out and then you reported back on how that did is going to be a much better piece of content. Another type of content that does really, really well that is better than everybody else's is step-by-step tutorials. I do that all the time. Back when I was a web designer, I did step-by-step tutorials, and I do step-by-step tutorials in my captions all the time now. It's content that rises above everybody else's. Tutorials stand out because most people either don't have enough knowledge to actually go and write tutorials, like they don't even know what to do in a tutorial, or they're just so valuable they stand out above the noise. Either way, a tutorial is going to be a very practical way for you to get into the next level. And by the way, this works for every industry. This doesn't just work for the health industry or the business industry. If you're a relationship coach, go out and treat your husband to 30 dates and report back on how much more intimate your marriage is. Go out and no matter what your industry is, go out and do something and then come back and teach us how to do it. These might seem like big examples, right? Like 30 days of dating your husband or 30 days of no sugar. But this is the kind of content that's going to stand out. I would much rather you put out 1 or 2 pieces of content out per month, and it's content that actually gets engagement and gets shares and then gets clients than for you to make 15 pieces of mediocre content that never goes anywhere. And I also want you to understand that like that level of effort, going out and doing something for 30 days is the amount of effort you need to be putting into good content. It's why you're frustrated is because you're putting mediocre effort to create mediocre content and you don't know why it's not working. And I told you I was going to be honest in this video, and that's what's wrong is your content is here when it needs to be here. Okay, mistake number 2. Again, we said we were going to be frank here. It's very obvious that you haven't learned the platform that you're creating content for. Okay, we can all tell when somebody's new to a platform or when somebody's been on a platform and just hasn't quite got the hang of it. Your content just doesn't fit with the platform. And it's fine, right? Like I had a learning curve when I first started Reels. You should go and look at my YouTube videos and sort by oldest. Like we all have a learning curve, okay? It's fine. It sucks at first. The difference is you have to be committed to getting better and you have to be committed to actually learning the platform that you're creating content for, which is why I teach to only put content out on one social media platform at a time. So only be publishing content on Instagram or only be publishing content on Facebook or only be publishing content on YouTube if you're making less than $1 million, because it's really hard to properly master each platform. And the algorithm rewards you when you're creating content that it's people like. And the way people like content on Instagram is different than the way people like content on LinkedIn, which is different than the way people like content on YouTube. And so when you're just publishing a bunch of mediocre content to 5 platforms at once, it looks bad and it looks like you don't know what you're doing and it's hurting you more than it's helping you. So pick one platform, get really good at understanding what kind of content works for that platform and just stay in your lane and stay focused with that. You're going to see much better results. Okay, so mistake number 3 was actually difficult for me to articulate because I'm an experienced content creator and I can tell when people aren't experienced content creators. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why. I couldn't put my finger on why I would read a student's work and I was like, you just sound like an amateur, and I couldn't figure out why. But I wanted to, obviously, because if I can help somebody stop sounding like an amateur, we're all happy here. Here's what it is. You are not confident or vulnerable enough to have an opinion and stand by it. And I learned this from my video guy, John. He's actually behind the camera right now. He told me this. He's like, Maria, you just need to have an opinion on something. You need to put your opinion out there and let the hate comments be the hate comments. And I realized that I was censoring myself. I'm going to give you a really practical example of how I would do this. So I would over-police myself. This is an obvious sign that you are not confident or experienced as you create content. Over-policing yourself when you write. So this could look like, it's really good to not eat sugar. But some people might say it's really okay to have sugar. So in your writing, in your content, you're immediately thinking about what the hate comments might be or what the dissenting opinion might be, and you're addressing them in your original opinion. I have learned that that's a sign of an amateur content creator. A confident, experienced creator will just state their opinion, go about their day, and maybe they'll reply to a comment or two who disagree in the comment section. So if I was a confident content creator, I would say something like, so let's say I'm a relationship coach and I help people have more intimate marriages. I think that people need to date 2 times a week, which is different than the common opinion, which is 1 time a week. I think that you need to go out on a date on a Tuesday and you need to go out on a date on a Friday, 2 times a week. I believe if you don't prioritize that, your marriage is in shambles. Again, this is just my hypothetical relationship coach example. I would make a piece of content that says, if you're not going on 2 dates a week, your marriage is probably going to fail. In my experience as a relationship coach, I've noticed that the couples that don't prioritize time in their relationship are the ones that usually end up getting divorced. That's my opinion. That's a piece of content I publish. If I'm not an experienced content creator, here's what I'll say. Well, I think that you should go on 2 dates per week. Some people might say 1 date is enough, but I think if you can, you should strongly try to go on 2 dates per week, even if it seems hard, or even if you've been told by a therapist that you only need to go on 1. Do you see how I'm answering the objections and the disagreeing opinion in the piece of content that I'm writing? It comes across as amateur. So 3 mistakes you're probably making. 1, your content sucks ass because you're just contributing to the noise. 2, you clearly have not done any research on learning the platform itself and how to get better on it. And it's okay. You'll get better. 3, you're not confident enough to just put an opinion out there and stand by it and say it confidently. If you want a head start on this and you want to start putting out content that's really good right now today, I did something for you. I wrote a bunch of content for you where you can just fill in the blanks as it relates to your industry. It's called the Everything Done For You Content Pack because everything is done for you. And it works for every industry. We've had a ton of students go through it. They love it. And what they find is it helps up-level their content. So they immediately start getting more comments. So they immediately start getting more sales just by filling in the blanks of the content that I have already written for them. Highly recommend you grab that. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, like it, subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.